So how to deal with the pain in endurance sports, specifically cycling. As I'm reading this book right now, Hell on Two Wheels, basically I came across a bunch of different ways that these cyclists that are doing this race across America are able to deal with the pain, and I thought it was pretty cool, so I wanted to share it. So the first thing you need to know is you have to believe that the perception of pain is a choice. So you have to believe that you're in control of how you perceive the pain. You might not be in control of how you know, what kind of pain comes towards you, how much pain you have, but you can decide how you perceive that pain. So you have to understand that. Now, this is a quote from one of the cyclists in the race. I try not to think about it. I just remind myself what my goal is. So that is a huge way to deal with pain, is to make sure you have a really big goal that means something to you, and then you frame that goal in a certain way so when you are in that painful situation, you can go back to that framed way of thinking about it, and you can remind yourself why you're doing it, why it's worthwhile, and then you'll be able to push through that pain a little bit better. The next quote that I want to mention is from another racer. He says, I know it is there, but because I feel it, but I don't pay attention to it. I sometimes see myself from the other view, looking down at me while riding. So what this rider likes to do is almost pretend like he's viewing himself from, almost like a heavenly experience, looking down upon himself. So what he's doing is separating the pain from the reality, where he knows his body's in going through pain, but he's not dealing with it. He's just analyzing the pain that he's going through. So he's almost be able to separate the two. So that's a really good attitude, or a good trick to do as well. The next rider always says, I spend at least half of my long training rides trying to figure out what techniques to use to lessen any pain I'm feeling. Relax when I get cramps in my shoulder blades, that sort of thing. None of us are out here to suffer. We have to figure out what's wrong and come up with a solution. So what this rider likes to do is try to focus on how they can make the pain a little bit less. And it could be a million different ways. Changing the saddle height, adjusting your position. But this girl wants to feel like she's always in control of everything. And if she is, then she's able to analyze that pain, and then she can tell herself, I can make this a little bit better. Basically she's in control of the pain no matter what. Another thing that the next cyclist likes to do, and this is one that's similar to Lance Armstrong, is pain is the goal. I accept it. It's where I want to be. The key is not to get down on myself. So what he does is he basically goes into these ultra endurance races telling himself that it's going to be painful, but that's okay. He's actually there because he wants that pain, because he wants the reward. So he, instead of being scared of it, kind of like being scared of putting your toe in a really cold water, he's there to embrace it. And then once you can embrace that pain, then you're able to deal with it when it comes. And the next quote is from the next guy, and he says, don't use the word pain in your life. Leave the pain. Never think about what you don't want to happen, only what you want to happen. Reaching the finish line, the top of the mountain. So his approach is to never think of the negatives, basically. Not to focus or dwell on the injuries, the pain, anything like that. He wants to focus on the good things. Getting to the top of the mountain, getting through that day of training or racing, and just all the positives that he wants to focus on every step of the way, getting him closer to that goal that he's going for. And finally, the last quote is, you have to do something, gain control of the situation. You can't do this race without any pain, but you can use mental strength to keep your emotions in check. So those are just some of the tips that these racers like to do. They're pretty good. I think you definitely can take something from these. Each one might not work for you, but maybe one of these things will work for you. But at the end of the day, it's all personal how you deal with the pain, but it's a matter of believing that you can persuade it, or believing that you can actually perceive the pain and also get over the pain, and finding the thing that works for you and then using that. So thanks a lot for watching. Keep going after those goals.